Welcome to Daily Lenten Reflections with Father Stephan Alexander and the Parish of St. Martin de Porres, Coryal. For these reflections, we're using the Ascension Lenten Companion. We invite you to journey with us throughout this Lenten season.
Replace. Master, it is well that we are here. Let us make 3 booths, one for you, and one for Moses, and one for Elijah. Mark chapter 9, verse 5. Thursday of the first week of Lent. We shift our attention today to the 9th chapter of Mark to prepare for Sunday of the 2nd week of Lent. Here we read about the Transfiguration. What can we learn about temptation as we study the Transfiguration? Peter says to Jesus, Master, it is well that we are here. Let us make 3 booths, one for you, and one for Moses, and one for Elijah. Mark chapter 9, verse 5. What is so bad about that? After all, if I were up there on that mountain and saw what Peter saw, I would say exactly what Peter said. Let's stay here. Every temptation is packaged in a lie. What is the lie being presented to Peter as he is tempted? What is he being lured by? The lie sounds something like this. Peter, stay here. It feels good here. It is glorious here. You're happy here. Now let's analyze that temptation and how it was presented. Peter, stay here. It feels good here. That was true. I am sure it felt awesome to be there at that moment. It's glorious here. That also was true. You're happy here. Again, that also was true. So far, everything presented to Peter was true. Perhaps that is why he was swept into the temptation. But remember, temptation never presents the whole story. Hidden in the temptation was the seduction to replace the giver with the gift. In other words, Peter wanted to stay in the moment because he was caught up in the gift that had been given. The Father, the source of the gift, was actively blessing them all on top of that mountain. The Transfiguration was not so much about the gift as it was the giver of the gift, God the Father, and what he was revealing to Peter. We are just like Peter. How many times have we wanted to worship the gift rather than the giver? We can worship our talent rather than the one who blessed us with that talent in the first place. We can become preoccupied with material blessings and lose sight of the one who bestowed those blessings upon us. We can be tempted to replace God with the things he has given us. When we replace the giver with the gift, we replace God with our image of him, namely as the one who is supposed to give us what we want. In the end, our gifts fail to satisfy us when we remove them from their source. When we substitute the gift for the giver, we then spend the rest of our lives chasing happiness through the gifts rather than allowing God to do what God longs to do. We cannot replace God with blessings, nor can we replace God with the feelings we experience in those blessings. Going deeper, read Mark chapter 9 verses 2 to 10. Begin to get familiar with the text. Consider the temptation for Peter to stay on the mountaintop. Now consider how and where you are tempted to replace God with his blessings or the feelings you experience in those blessings.